My name is Tiffany Flesher, and this is YouTube video number 4 for Literature of Resistance. I just want to start by saying, apologizing in advance, because I was actually at a loss about what to make the content of this video. I guess I'll discuss my final project. My final project it started off to be about prison reform and what we can do to change the system. I don't know how people feel about if they're okay with the current situation that's going on, but I strongly feel like there is a school to prison pipeline in the African American as well as Latino community, basically all people of color. I think it's a shame that 1 in 4 African American men will at some point in their life experience the prison system. We also make up the largest number of any ethnicity in prison when we are still a minority as far as population is concerned. So originally, that's what my project was going to be about. However, I realized that with all the things that were going on in my personal life and with my own personal experience, it really could be something more than that. We have learned that, well, we've learned in our class that literature of resisting could be any form. It could be a speech, it could be a memoir, it could really just be your truth. For instance, Harriet Jacobs, for some of us, Harriet Jacobs' story was just a story about her life during the time of slavery. But what we know is that it became a resistance piece because it told the truth about what was happening. It was another perspective. It went against the grain of something at the time that was deemed not necessarily acceptable because she published it after slavery was abolished, but it was in much of across the country, especially in the North, they were very unaware of what was going on in the South. And she told her truth. Sometimes our truth is the biggest resistance that we can give to things in our life that are unjust or just wrong. So there are many different forms of resistance literature. Like I said, in my personal life, I had so much going on that touched on the topic of prison that I realized that I had resistance literature in my own home. I used letters, I used conversations, I used information that I was given. I used my own personal experiences with the prison system as well as the county jail and what I have seen as my source of information. I personally have never been to jail or prison. I have, however, been in the back of a police car, but that's not that's neither here nor there. But I have never been to jail, thank you God. But I always say that everyone is one bad decision away from going there. My project is also not to argue was it right or was it wrong for the person that my project was based on, if it was right or wrong for them to be there. That's not the argument. I'm a firm believer that if you do the crime, you do the time. That is my feeling. However, I feel like people of color get unjust amounts of time compared to Caucasians when it comes to the same crimes. I think that it is completely asinine that a person can work inside a company and steal millions and millions of dollars and retirement funds, and people can literally lose everything that they have, and these men are sentenced to 6 years, 10 years. They get to go away in a cushy prison where, they get to golf. Well, maybe not golf, but it's almost free reign. Think Martha Stewart, basically. But when a young black man holds up a convenience store and maybe walks away with $125, he can literally go to prison for 10 years. I feel like that is completely unjust. I feel like we really need to fix the way we handle our cases, and we need to look at the justice system and what's really just about it. So like I said, my paper is not to argue what's right or what's wrong in today's it's not to argue what's right or what's wrong. It's really to argue about it's really to talk about the experiences of an inmate, and not just an inmate, but his family, and what happens when you first get there. What happens if this was not your lifestyle, if you were genuinely not a bad guy, and all of a sudden your world changes and you are thrust into an environment where you are surrounded by bad guys? What happens to you? How do families survive? So that is my project. I apologize in advance for this video. I apologize in advance. This video is not that great. Yeah, it's really not that great, but I did it on the fly. But I also just want to say I really appreciate my class and the open dialogue that we had. It was awesome, and it stuck with me, and easily one of my favorite classes. So I just want to say that I was very thankful for that. And that's it. Thank you.